Hey, there we go. I know destination, you never been there before. Oh, no reservation, come on, let's go and explore. If you never know before, well, it's a chance to know. Let me show you why. Let me show you why. Let me show you why.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tony Bahama, with our co-host,
Malik Adegamba,
from the Humblest Opinion, Season 2, Episode 4. Episode 4. Ladies and gentlemen, today, as we, come to you on this Good Friday, this good day, this Good Friday. We see a lot of things and hear a lot of things around the Caribbean, and not just the Caribbean, the Bahamas as well. Or international as well. And we're kind of getting to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where somebody, we don't want to apply ownership or blame or responsibility to anybody, because that's not what we do here. We just offer our opinion on what we think could happen or should happen. It is an educated opinion. There's some research behind this. We make this look easy, but we do put some thought behind some of the things and the topics and the things that we see. It is a mixture of current events and some of the things that we see and experience on a daily basis. So, just the general fact of this is that somebody is going to have to choose sooner and or later. We can't continue to go. We can't continue to go in this direction of back and forth, because it's not good for the country. It's not good for any country. It's not good for any people. For the Yamba, before we get into the topic, any opening thoughts?
Yeah, as I see it, we're going to need to understand and realize that what's been happening is not working. You can clearly see it. If anyone who wants to bother to pay attention, they can clearly see that it's not working. So if you can clearly see that it's not working, then obviously a choice needs to be made. So somebody, as you said, got to choose. All right. And can't be just one person, but collectively got to get together and make a decision. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, we definitely have to. We definitely have to have a sense of, we got to figure this one out. What's the favorite people? Us in general, we have to know. We have to have a thought or plan. Right now, we don't really know what we have. We really don't. We really don't know what we have. That's and that seems to be what the issue and the problem would be. So, we have to come to the point where we have to make some hard and fast decisions on what we're going to be doing, and hopefully we could try to help push people in that direction today. Or just say some facts or give you some information that would make you think. Maybe we need to do this or need to do that. So, first and foremost, we can't go without starting off about, the recent quote unquote top 10 finish of the Bahamas in, what is, or what was, the Miss Universe pageant. We have, a sister, who's of Haitian parentage, or half Haitian, or however you want to call it, because that doesn't even make the sense of the half, but okay, let's go with that. Since that's what we gave it, let's go with that. So, the question remains, because the Bahamas was awarded the top 10 finish or top 10 spot, right, Billy Gamble?
Yes, yes.
You know, they were awarded that. You know, but the young lady, you know, her parentage or progeny um, is Haitian. Now, does that really matter? No. For us, for me, no. You know, because if you is a dude to have a chance to be with a young lady who is in Miss Bahamas or Miss Universe, and she's a top 10 finisher, you know, and even if she wasn't, she's still a beautiful young lady. So if you can say, no, wait, so no, you use half Haitian or use quarter Haitian or use quarter Chinese. No, you just like it mine. That's, you know, we can't do this because of that. You just like it mine. Something wrong with you, you know, if that's how you feel. But it really shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't be that big of an issue. But we have to delve into that because it strikes a chord on a bigger issue here. You know, one, what is half Haitian? Where are we getting that? Where it's coming from? I mean, I have an idea where it's coming from. It's coming back from slavery. You know, the Uluru, the Quadroon, you know, the half black, the quarter black, the African American, whatever we do with that. That's garbage. Because if it was slavery, it was one drop, you black, your mom black, your grandpa black, you this. So where's all this? You know, we have to delve into that. And then on top of that, okay, cool. When is it acceptable for people to be Haitian or half Haitian or half Jamaican or half Chinese or whatever else it is you want to do that? Is it acceptable when you're doing something good? Or is it like making it bad or worse for the rest when it's something bad? Also, we can accept it now is what the Bahamas seem to be saying because, you know, yes, this, but, you know, everybody else who's Haitian, we can run them or we can treat them bad or disrespect, you know. But if you're doing something good, come, let's go. But if you're doing something bad, or you're doing something, you know, like bad in the sense of you want to hop a plane and you want to hop a boat and just better your life, like shit, you know? Yeah. Things rough where you was living, you know, obviously, well, hey, I can't take that. I need I need to slide. What's the line? Like, let me know, because I want to know. You know, when we as people have to decide, you know, put a gamma. What's your thought?
I agree that we as people need to decide. And I want to know where the line is too. I would really like to know where the hell the line is. Because, I mean, you're making a very valid point here when it's being said, okay, when we're speaking about illegal immigrants,
right?
People who are in the country and have not gained citizenship, they did not go about things the right way. Or even those who didn't go about things the right way ended up encouraging or assisting people who ended up coming through. But we're saying, if you want to represent our country, okay, let's go with the word indigenous.
Correct.
In order to be indigenous, you are supposed to have been born and bred on in the country of question, and both parents are supposed to have been indigenous for you to be indigenous, okay? Because this is how we get to mixed races and whatnot. Because if you and I are not both of our parents are not indigenous, then I can't now claim indigenous. That's why I have to say. That's why I have to say 1/3 Cherokee or 1/4 this or whatever. You understand me? So that means you're not indigenous. So when we're speaking about what is indigenously Bahamian now would be those either who were met here, okay, by the oppressors, or who were dragged here by the oppressors, and they then now developed a lineage over the course of the centuries, the decades, however long it took for things to happen. The line used to be that if both parents are not of Bahamian origin, then you are not a Bahamian. You feel what I'm saying?
Simply put, that's what I thought. Right?
You know, so now that, as you're saying, whenever someone is doing something good, then we can say, oh, we can allow that. We can allow that. Come on, man. You need to decide what you're gonna do. take a position, okay, and stop trying to deal with the accepted opinion or the popular opinion versus making certain that you have an actual opinion. Okay, stop being bandwagon jumpers because that's who we seem to be. Okay, if they winning, they are. If they losing, man, we don't know them. You understand what I'm saying? Come on, man, we gotta make up your mind. Yeah, we gotta make up our mind what we're gonna do. Because here's the thing, I love my people. Okay, my people are what the world would call black. But we would be the originals. We are the melanated, the darker hue people. I love them worldwide. The diaspora worldwide. So I have no issue with the young lady. Personally, I don't have an issue with her. My thing is, how is it that somebody who is not a Bahamian was allowed to be in this competition? Because I feel like because I feel that when we choose our people from here, they're supposed to be a certain criteria in place. So how is it that the criteria was not followed, or is there no longer a criteria? Because that's what I'm trying to find out.
See, that's where we getting into a whole big can of worm on this, which really somebody either ain't doing their job, somebody looking the wrong way, something going on. Because, okay, good. I know one thing what is never going to happen. I know Miss Africa born in China is not going to be representing China.
Right.
You know, don't care where she born. She can born right there. She can born next to, Kim Jong-il. It don't matter. It don't matter. You never, again, this is what the stereotypical standard of what they want perceived as as beauty or an oppression of their country that would be out there. So they ain't gonna confuse that. So what happening now with the Bahamas? What happening now with this? I don't have a problem with this. I just want to ask. This is just my humble opinion. These are questions. But the gamble. Sorry to cut you off. You say it, but I just want to know.
No, but I'm saying, but I agree. I am agreeing because that's my point. My thing is, we need to be clear in all aspects of whatever we do. Now, what was said is, hey, the initial black prime minister was of Jamaican origin or heritage as well.
Just for historical reference, the late great right honorable.
Right. Right. And so now the present prime minister is married to a non-Bahamian. The very, very failed last attempt of the third party. Well, they couldn't even be called third party no more because they fall in fourth place. You know what I mean? Yeah, they fall in fourth place. So so we'd have to be fourth party, and she's married to a foreigner. You understand what I'm saying? So now we have come to the point where the lines have been blurred so much that we're willing to accept these things if like we said before, if you're winning or if you seem to be doing well.
You know, let's go.
And my thing is this: if the people who are representing you are about unity and trying to bring us all together, I could have a better understanding. But if you have certain what they have deemed, the oppressors have deemed nationalities, if you have them fighting for their nationality, their country, even when they're living in your country, benefiting off of your country, sending the money that they make in your country home to their country, while they're speaking poorly about the people who live in your country, the people who are from your country, who are born and bred in your country, then these people should not be seen as allies.
Now we're talking.
You see, because the thing about it is now, all right, if you look at the division, and a lot of times things are brought forth for division and for destruction. So now instead of the large focus being on the atrocities that are being committed against humankind, especially the melanated diaspora worldwide. Instead of that being the focus on trying to unite against that, now we're in the division situation because you have the Bahamian who is trying to defend, and then you have the Bahamian who is quite upset that this even took place.
Right.
Then you have the Haitian who's trying to defend, but the majority of the comments are the Haitians who are basically saying, "Hey, it took one of us to make history in your country."
Exactly. Louis George, who works now for the United Nations. Believe that or not. I mean, that's kind of a jump, as far as a position. But Louis George, was the main advocate, posting and reposting and resharing and all this different stuff like that. Which is cool, which is understandable, which is good. But he was out there, putting us out there. We doing this, we doing that in the Bahamas. So yeah, what's going on? What's going on? Somebody got to choose sooner or later. That's all. That's all I say.
The issue to me, as I'm saying, is that I feel as if what took place was intentional. I
Correct.
feel that
I agree.
This was always the plan. And as I said, because it distracts you yet again from what you need to be focusing on. And so what we need to choose to do is to avoid these distractions and continue to focus on what's most important. And that is the unification of our people worldwide, because they are very calculating. They're very good at what they do because they've had centuries to perfect this thing. And this is exactly what's taking place, because here's the thing now. How do you, if you're going to go and celebrate a foreigner getting your country a milestone that never happened before, Miss Bahamas wasn't in the top 10. Now, yes, past we had I don't know if it's Miss Photogenic or Miss Congeniality or something of that nature. That took place before, right? But to be in the top 10, recognized, that hasn't. You understand what I'm saying? So now you have somebody who is not her people. I think they're saying that the father's a Bahamian. I think they're saying that the father's a Bahamian, right? But I don't even know if we fully changed the laws yet, where a father having a foreign child makes that child a citizen. Because I have family members who have children with people from, let's say, Jamaica and other countries, and their children aren't looked at as citizens. Now, I know they're supposed to be focusing on changing it, but I can't say with guarantee that it has already been changed. It's generally if the mother is a Bahamian and she gave birth to that child.
Correct. And that is not the case here. And that is not the case here.
Right. So at the end of the day, my issue is, how did this happen? Is this something that is accepted? Because I wasn't aware of it before. You understand what I'm saying? All right. And of course, now most people are saying, hey, why are we fighting over this? Because, they're coming back representing us. But that's okay. You have people who are from different countries who, let's just say America would say, okay, we'll be paying them to run for us, to play for us, to represent us. And they're not from that particular country.
Correct.
And so that's how that works. Okay. But as I'm saying, I wasn't aware that the Miss Bahamas Universe situation was set up as such. And because it's such a hot button topic, I don't feel like this, what took place, should have taken place. Somebody else should have been chosen, because honestly and truthfully, in my humble opinion, because it was ever planned for this thing to take place, right? For maybe for payment of being so accommodating, and being such a puppet in reference to the whole fiasco was taking place now. I feel like that was ever the plan. Okay, like that was the plan. So just about any attractive melanated woman that came from this country, right? I feel would have gotten straight. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay, so that's all I'm saying. All right. So at the end of the day, I don't feel like this what they did should have taken place, and I feel like it was intentional that it was done so that now you're going to be able to justify having a bunch of them coming in and getting citizenship.
Correct.
You feel what I'm saying?
Correct.
Okay.
Just to kind of blow your mind on something here we seeing here. You know, we got some things here. You know, this is the picture of beautiful young lady, you know, of on the screen here of the young lady, Mrs. Chantel O'Brien. Now, you know, and just to kind of mess your minds up a little more, you know, just to give you a picture of thought, you know, we do also have a picture or the representation of the Queen, the former young, you know, Ya Santiwa, you know, looking at the two of them side by side. You know, there is a resemblance. You know, I could see that. Now, this is a picture that's dated so on and so forth. And the other is a picture, you know, of a young lady. But I do see a slight resemblance, one. Two, you know, when I do this, I want you to think about who the ancestors are really either coming back as, or who are they playing on, or who are they moving to, or what form are they taking? Are they coming again to win again in another lifetime? Who knows? You know, all that thought, you know, but there is a resemblance, you know, if you ask me, you know, if you ask me, and I know what I'm looking at, you know, so that's one. But back to the young lady here, she's a beautiful young lady. You know, it's not without question. It's without question. But again, the Bahamas got it too. The Caribbean got it too. And Black people in general got it too. Because here's what's happened. You're not going to be able to move forward with this double-mindedness. Because whatever category, like you said, for example, that they could, any sub-category that they could put in there to keep people apart and keep people off the real issue, man, that seems to be what's going to be suggested, you know. And it's sad because who cares? You know, you care, but then you don't care. You should care, but then you shouldn't care. But the greater issue at this point in juncture, so now, okay, let's just go down the road of legality. Is this a breach of cultural identity for the Bahamas? Or is this a win for the Bahamas? Or is this a loss? You got to ask yourself that question.
Well, see, the thing about it is this. Being real, in my humble opinion, it's a loss if you're speaking about Bahamian identity. It's a loss.
Correct.
Right? If we want to speak on cultural identity, and that's why what's being said is you have to choose, because this is how I feel it should be. I feel it should be that any melanated person from any part of the world should be able to come into that other part of the world, especially if it's a melanated place, and decide whether or not they want to affiliate themselves with this particular country or not. But we're all melanated. That's how I feel. Okay?
Right.
But that should only happen if it's a clear understanding that as a melanated person, you're coming in to build up the melanated people, not your people. See,
right.
When you have the mindset that if I go to this country, I only hang with the Bahamians, I only hang with the Haitians, I'm only with the Jamaicans. You know, we're only trying to build these people up so that we can help to build our country up. Then now you're an enemy of the state. You're
Thank you.
You are enemy of the melanated people, because you're not saying let us come together as a diaspora, and as long as we have the same hue skin, we need to come together and make things happen. See, we have allowed the people to divide us so much as a people that instead of saying, okay, you have Orientals, and so let's utilize that the same way that they're utilizing the Black people. But the issue is we don't have those numbers. Okay, You got in China, you got more than 1 billion. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So they could say we as Chinese standing against Japanese or against the Koreans or whatever, because they have billions in total. You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
To have this war. But we have more than 1 billion in total worldwide. Okay. We can't afford to do what we're doing, which is Jamaica, Haiti, Barbados, Trinidad. Everyone is on their own run. So we don't mix with y'all. The numbers are too small to do that. But the fact that that is the way that we are, that means that once you allow your area, your nationality of people to be demeaned by saying another nationality had to come to make you look good, then you're saying that you're not ready.
And it is a big round of applause for that, of course, but again, I'm bringing that point because, you know, the Minister of National Security, you know, the Department and the Minister of Immigration, you know, should be having this conversation here. You know, and even if you say, cool, hey, you know, we let that one go through, but, you know, now we talking about a subset within a set. You know, we talking about a group within a group. We talking about a nation, one nation in another nation. And that is where you get division, you know, and that is what's cutting, you know, and like you said, when I say we, let me be clear. Let me clarify again for you. We mean Black people. We mean melanated people. We cannot afford to say, no, eyes only go with those. Excuse me, eyes only mix with these. Eyes only do that. Why? Because, like, again, the people, the percentage is not there. It's, two, you're cutting off a certain span or set of resources and social and intellectual capital, you know. And then thirdly, you know, it's not optimum, you know. You hurting yourself. You know, anybody that says is this, but I'm not that. You know, anybody that's neglected, you know, and this is the Pan-Africanist point of relative to our platform. Either I'm this, but I'm not a Black, or I'm not an African. I'm not this. You're delusional, one. But two, you're hurting the greater movement. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your grandkids. You're hurting your children's children. You know, so this is the point where, and I'm saying this not just to the Bahamas. I'm saying this not just to Bahamian people. You know, just people in general. That's melanated people in general. Somebody. Hey, I ain't pointing the finger. You know, I ain't calling my name. I'm just saying somebody is going to have to choose. From a legal standpoint, something went awry here. From a business standpoint, something went awry here. Because if I was owning the company and I say, okay, cool, bring me, you know, someone to represent the Bahamas, someone to represent Philippines, but they look like, you know, West African, I'm like, hold on, wait. You know, that really, you know, somebody deserved to get fired. You know, some background check, some type of something in out here.
Yeah, agreed.
You know,
yeah.
You go to Wendy's, you go to McDonald's, and they, hey, you know, let me get that number 2. Let me get that fish. But you bring me out a Big Mac. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, what? You know, no, but hold on, we didn't run out of this, or it wasn't enough Bahamians to do this, or you know, right. No, they side by side. You know, on the menu, I bring you this number 3 because we didn't have the number 2, or the number 2 was there but it wasn't ready. You know, whatever the reasoning, that ain't it. That can't go. So somebody
my thing is, these people have a year, man. These people have a year to plan and prepare.
Correct. 100% true. So how is this not vetted? How is this so cool? All right, when you get a job, you know, like you say at a government agency or something, you get a job at the corner. They want to see everything. They want 2 references. They want this. They want that. They want to. Better yet, you know what? I have the paperwork right in front of me for a renewal or issuance of a Bahamas or Caribbean passport. You know, bear in mind the Haitian Constitution says that no matter where you go, this is the Constitution constructed by Toussaint Louverture. Go look it up. It's online. And it is in perpetuity and irremovable. He died in a French jail. Only him as emperor or president of the First Republic could have changed these things, and it has not and cannot be changed because he died without changing. So the Constitution says of Haiti that in perpetuity, meaning forever, that the residualizations of the people of the country of the Republique de Haiti will perpetually be its people, meaning that no matter where they go, their biggest resource coming from Haiti will be its people. Yes. And then secondly, in the same vein, on the same subset of conversation, it says that this is in no way transferable to any other culture, any other civilization that is or will be on the face of the earth. In layman's terms, if you were a Haitian, you ain't gonna never ever be able to be nothing else. So there is no Haitian Bahamian. There is no Haitian American. There is no this and that. And that's good. That is great because the resurgence of what Haiti will be that I can see.
Yes.
That will, people look at that negatively, but if you smart, if you do some research, you realize you're in error. And if you know the research and you still looking down and not trying to help these people that that did something so monumentous that contributed to your independence, the Bahamas, Africa, wherever.
All. Anywhere they could be connected.
Right. So you, if you looking down at the people that help you become independent and free, that ain't even nothing. That's a sucker move, to be honest. That's about use a sucker because you can't pay it back. You can't help them. Now they help you, but when it's time for you to give back, you ain't want to help them back. Given that the impression of the world has been on that country since Toussaint, just before Toussaint Louverture. So now, from a legal standpoint, they have, it's payback time. From an economic standpoint, it's payback time. But from a legal standpoint, we know what the law says. You know what the law says. So whether it's a Haitian in the Bahamas running for, representing the Bahamas, for Miss Bahamas, that's what it should be stated as. That's because that's what happened here. And not saying that something's bad about that. It's just, let's just don't call the number 2 the number 1. Let's call the number 1 what it is. Let's say what it is.
That's why you're saying you got to draw the line. I mean, we got to know where the line is, and the line must be clear.
So someone has to make that.
Because the bottom line is she cannot be a Bahamian as long as she's a Haitian, because that is what their law states.
Correct.
Okay? As long as you come from a Haitian, then that is what you are. Now, again, as you said, there's nothing wrong with that because honestly and truthfully, all of our countries should operate in the same way. Okay?
Correct.
But we don't. But the fact of the matter still remains. When we're speaking about the line should be clear. And that line is, are you divided? If you are divided, then this can't go. If you aren't divided, then we don't say nationality, period. We just say or we just say black. So we have to decide. Now, honestly and truthfully, the way the world is set up right now, we are divided. You have a nationality. So you need to know what's supposed to happen, what can happen. Because what that means now is that next year, someone who is born to a Colombian, okay, as long as they got Bahamian, they can do the same thing. Someone from any country, my brother. Okay, correct. Think about it. Okay, a Chinese now, okay, can have a baby with a Bahamian. Okay, and now they go into Miss Bahamas. So I'm just saying, I mean, come on, man. You gotta
let one in. If you let one in, you gotta let all in.
Exactly, because once it didn't happen, you now have no standing.
Correct.
This already happened. What you talking about? That one ain't over. Let's move on. That's
right.
And that's how the world works. That's why I said these things to be cleverly planned. Because when you do that, you now have no leg to stand on. You cannot say, oh, we've had 100 years of this, and this is our tradition, so we're not changing it, right? Legally, your natural law, your common law trumps this other law.
Correct.
But when you decide to change your common law, you decide to change your natural law, now you have no more case, because they can always refer to when you let it happen. So if you let it happen once, you can let it happen again. You can let it happen 100 more times.
That
means nothing anymore.
In a legal format, based on the law of any country, most in Westminster system, especially in England, especially in Europe, the people of the Caucasus thought, that's called precedent. And that is the most powerful thing in law. Yeah, okay, cool. Did that happen? Show me, because this is what a judge and most people that deliver on cases ask for. You can't bring a story or a claim, and it can be denied, but a strong precedent, hey, this has happened here, this time. And you can state that, and this is the ruling, this is the thought, this was never, and that is proven, that can swing a case. That can swing a case. That swings the case. That is actively going on. Some judge right now is making a deliberation of the decision on these basis of precedent. So, like Bahamian said, that happened one time. That could happen again. So now, if this all changes, as it should be, bear in mind these things did not exist. There were no passports in Africa and Kevlar. There were no documents, right? They didn't say, okay, cool, you a Bantu person, give me your papers. No. That came with
colonization.
Correct. So now, and sadly, in South Africa, a lot of the stuff is still going on. In Ethiopia, the war and genocide is going on. In Darfur, in Sudan, and Congo. People look exactly alike, sad to say. People are standing, everybody wants something that's good, passing and going for their own positive upliftment or pleasure, But two people look exactly alike, one from South Sudan, one from Sudan, one from the one side of Ethiopia, the next one from the next one, Eritrea. Two cousins, two people, grand people, kids, in South Africa. You had to have your papers that go over this side of that. They still ask for this today. This is still going on today. You're going over that side of town, you need to have your papers and declare the person who you're going to on the right side have to let you know, hey, look, we send for this, they send something back, and then boom, you move over that side. This ain't going on in 1800 or 19 something. This is going on today in 2020 in South Africa. So this whole imaginary set of lines, an imaginary, what do you call this? The disseminations only came with colonization. If on the opposite end of the spectrum, we were all savages. That's what they try to report. If we was, then we'd kill each other, right? If we were all cannibals and wild men and all that, right? We'd have all killed each other because, Africa is the oldest continent. There would be no people left, wouldn't it? So if they couldn't get along without these pieces of paper and it didn't work, for whatever reason, then everybody been gone. There would be no black people on Earth left. They'd all kill each other out because they savages, right?
Exactly. If the paper was so important. Yeah.
Right. If those disseminated, if those lines, the Bantus couldn't get along with the Tigray or the people of the Tigray or the Mali or whatever, or the Zulus, whatever. If they couldn't get along, then everybody, if they were all savages, they were all cannibals, they were all, doing all kind of backward stuff according to what the colonization said, and that they came to bring civilization, quote unquote, to these people. If that was the case, then don't you think they would all kill each other? It would be no slaves to export. There would be nobody to take. The Akan people of Ghana, there would be none of them, right? Because they were all savages, right? And this is the horribly wrong logic relative surrounding all these things. Now, Am I the person in power? Is Dr. Badagamba the person in power to make these decisions? No, but we just offer you this simple fact on how, we got to consider this, because we're going against it. It's blatant in your face if you do some research. We just laid out the facts here, but Badagamba just gave you quality facts here. What's the line? And somebody has to decide and choose where that is. But the law says this. Toussaint Louverture said this. The Haitian government says this. The Bahamas law says this. The ministry, the regular Joe Smo hopping off a boat just because he, want a better life, she want a better life. They can't get the same privilege. They ain't getting no parade. So where we, someone has to choose. And it can't be one but not the other. It has to be perfectly stated because, at that point, there is no community. There is no rules. There is an equity. And that's the most important part against our institution, us as people. But again, any other thoughts on this before we move?
No, man. I think we beat that to death.
Speaking of beat to death, the former government, we ain't calling her name, you just know who he is. The former government has greatly assisted in the economic downturn of the country and one of the most once powerful countries in the entire Caribbean, the Bahamas, economically. And it's still there. There's still some residuals there, but it's not as strong as it was. So, this record government or this previous government has stolen. What is a record or the debt of the Bahamas? You, if you Bahamian and you listen to this, you are indebted in the Bahamas to the tune of almost 14 billion with a B over the last 4.5 years. Look at the records from before and look at the records from now. There was a $15 billion hole that's unaccounted for fully. Auditors at the government buildings were blocked from going in to check the records and count and do this and that. So this is where you are. This is where you if you start here listening to this most of the time, you're probably not going to have to pay for that. Your kids are going to pay for that. Your grandkids are going to pay for that. So with that said, over this last 4 years, plus the pandemic, plus Dorian, plus that, plus this, plus that, right? Good. The greatest concern at this point in time, right now, is another avenue to take money out of the country, which is a group of foreigners that are here in the Bahamas that are gonna take your funds and leave, called the carnival. For example, like I say, someone that you choose. Help me understand.
Listen, it's difficult for me to understand. It truly is, because see, the indoctrination is so good. The indoctrination, the miseducation has been so successful that we focus on what they want us to focus on. Materialism, how we look to other people, and trying to be equal to or in set with the oppressor. These are the things that we care about. So instead of us having come together from 6 months ago and say, listen, we don't care what you're running on with this whole pandemic situation. We need to have our festivity, which is Junkanu. I don't care if the people got a space out. I don't care if, I don't care if we got to do the social distancing thing or whatever. Y'all got to now start structuring this from now, because we ain't going without that. But we are strongly concerned about the money's being lost by somebody else when we don't care about the money's being lost by our people. When we don't care, when we don't care about the joy of our culture being lost by our people. Now, I am not saying that the government is not 100% wrong for what it is that is happening with the carnival, because they are. Because nobody in their right mind is going to spend $500,000, maybe more, to pack up stuff, pay for because the people who come over, they ain't illegals, my brother. They have to get permits.
And like so,
okay.
Correct.
You need to understand exactly what's going on. Before they come to the country, they have to have permits for the length of time that they're staying. Those things cost money. Okay, they got to rent. The person who owns it got to rent apartments for these people to stay in. They got to rent vehicles to get around. Okay, they got to pay these semis to go and bring these containers to this location. They have to pay for the spot where they put in their stuff. Okay, all of this has to be done prior to these people coming here.
Correct.
Let's be 100% clear on
100%.
So
clear.
Obviously, some entity had to verify all of this prior to the people coming. Was it the former administration? Was it the present administration? Because these things don't take a week or two to do, my brother. Okay? This is months of preparation. So we may never know. So what I'm saying is what's taking place is just flat out wrong. Okay? It is. But what I'm saying is that our people don't rear up for our people.
Like how we ran up for this.
And that's my issue. So, and the thing about it is, you're speaking about an entity that's coming to take your money. That's their job. Their job is to take as much money from you as possible. Okay, anybody who's ever actually been to the carnival, right? If you're someone who goes to the carnival and does more than walk around and go on a ride, okay, then you should understand the robbery that takes place. Because when you bounce there, the cost of the food is more than the people who robbed you at Fusion. Okay? When you go and you play in these games that are rigged because of the way that the things are set up, right? The chances of you winning is slim. Okay? You spend $300 to get a little stuffed animal that you could have gotten out of the store for like $10. You know what I mean? Come on.
Use the cloud.
Okay.
Use the cloud.
Right? So the level of robbery is serious. Okay? You play it on the over and under table and you getting beat badder than if you was in Vegas. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? So let's just be real. Let's be real. Okay? And guess what? I can't be mad at them. You want to know why? Because it's not the fault of the person who create the stuff, It's the fault of the sucker who goes continuously to get robbed. So think about that. Think about that.
Right.
Okay?
Round of applause. Big round. Huge round of applause for that. On the screen, we can pull it up, y'all. It's the document. And we can see the dates, we can see the time. We can put it up there in a minute. But like Brother Gamma say, nobody jumping on air with $500,000 or $1 million worth of equipment. Just to say, you know what? Wait, the first question you got asked is, where are you going to put that? It ain't like it's a bunch of spots where you could pick to say, you know what, I can put that here in Nassau and just get everybody to come to that. Because you can't, we know where you can't put that. You can't put that in Camp Road. You can't put that. You can't put that same part to each street. You can't put that.
But brother, you need permits. You need permits to operate any kind of business in this country, right?
Correct.
So how are you gonna have a friggin'? I mean, you have stuff that could cover acres, and you just and I could just come and they asking you the customs. Where all these stuff can
right?
You getting questioned, my brother. That's how it works.
Exactly.
Okay.
When you flew in on the plane you came in on, or the boat you came in on, they asking, hold on, so where you staying?
Exactly. All right.
And that's just a person.
What's your purpose? What's your purpose of this trip? What's
and why
the
you come here?
Purpose of your visit, sir? Oh, exactly. Okay. What you come to do and why you come with all of these stuff? Okay. So you try to tell me nobody asks no one no questions?
Are we talking about 2 bags? We talking about 3, 4 bags. You just go and make it a trip. You got Grammy who's run out. She won 15,000 bags. You know what I mean? The biggest box in the world I was ever seen. Grammy get run out a little bit. But they asking her, Miss, ma'am, so where you carrying this, where you going, what all in the bag? You mean to tell me they ask these people? They ask these people, boss, where you going with that? Come on, man. Some logic have to kick in somewhere on this. Someone got to think about this.
And of course, it took time for all of this stuff to come. 9 times out of 10, everything ain't even come on one boat. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Correct. So you try to tell me when the first load come through, the high raise no flags, but when the second load come through, you're just like, oh yeah, well, that's them see him do it, man. They just come to rest these things here and then push them back on the country. Correct. Really? That's how you felt?
Correct. So that's just generally, what going down here. What going down here, ladies and gentlemen. The simple fact is something. This was oh wow, like this is a sudden thing. No, they knew what was going on. People knew what was going on with this, So let's be real about this. So people knew about that. Now, and this is the document dated October 16, 2018. So bear in mind, these people had you in lockdown, thinking about what they was going to do for you or give you when you come out of lockdown, because this was 2018. Now we're in 2020, 21 actually. So, about to be 2022. Don't worry about the fact that, looking at this letter, that one, this lasted, 2 administrations. This letter and documents lasted, longer than your driver's license could last you. Don't worry about it. Don't think too much on that. Right? Because you only get license your car, license your license for 1 or 2 years. Max, don't worry about that. Don't mind that this group of people got a little better situation or opportunity than you in your own country. Don't worry about that. Listen, don't matter that the treasurer of the party, not the government agency, is the one that's the signature and signer on this document. Don't worry about that. Listen, don't worry about why the pastor's driving that new Maserati. Just give your offer. Don't worry about that. Okay? Don't worry about the fact that this group came into your country and has been granted temporary importation and equipment apparatus trailer status, without tax. Don't worry about
tax.
Without tax. Don't worry about it. Like, hey, if I lie it, I fly it. Look at the document on the screen. Whereas if you gotta go somewhere, you gotta pay tax on the gas you're using to go there. You know what I mean? If you in Freeport, you gotta do business in the port, you gotta pay tax on that too. Or if you go in the food store and you want to buy something, which not of him is going to own, but that's a whole other story. Don't worry, you gotta pay tax on. You gotta pay VAT tax plus the tax that they importing in on that food.
That's the thing that our people do not understand, because the tax only applies to you. You're the only person who's suffering from the tax. Because let's take for example, that it's cheaper to purchase seafood in America from the Bahamas than it is to purchase seafood in the Bahamas.
I am about to say, we had a beautiful meal. Shout out to Mimi's out there on wherever it is. I think it's Pinewood. Great food, great seafood. And I thought about it as I was eating that.
Yeah, memes, yeah.
Memes, yeah, it was great food. But I was like, hold on, this same set of food, I was like, hold on, I wonder what it costs. I had some good people that offered the meal, and I appreciate that. to them. But that would have cost a lot more if you was traveling. So, think about these things. But then again, but a gamble. So they had you locked down, thinking about what they was going to give you when you locked down. The Cultural Festival of Bahamas, we don't know the status of. They stopped the Junkanoo last year with, the lady who tried to put her face on all the costumes and tried to fight all the Junkanoo groups, and on the money and on the medals.
You can't make this up, yeah.
And the money, you know what I mean, had you locked down. So you know what? How we can make this work? They call and contact these people, give these people a free exemption. Now, this is 2018. We don't know if the exemption is to last in perpetuity. We don't know if it's going to last for 5 years. We don't know if it's going to last 10 years. We don't know what the whole specifics of the contract agreement. We just have this document like that. That's it. So let's go with that. But they're getting it free. You, in the meantime, people that die of COVID, die of financial illnesses, or supposedly, quote unquote, die of whatever it is they died of, that went past and been taxed. And then even when they dead, even when they pass away, bless their soul, they still got to pay some probate tax to the government. But these foreigners come in here and they're going to get to take more of your money from you for free.
And collect tax for the government, said we.
But there was a lady who was crying. Her and her kids sit out front of the carnival. Y'all's probably seen this silly video. This lady sitting in front of the carnival and she's praying to the Almighty Lord. Please, I got my children in the back seat. Please let us go. So the camera help me. Because I don't know. I don't know. This what you're praying for?
Unfortunately, that's what a lot of people praying for.
This what you upset about? So, okay, the recession in the government, y'all just vote them out. And you had to get them going a long time, right? Now you got the new people there. The new people trying to see sense. Hold on, look. And even if it's a spiteful, let's just say it's a spiteful move, which it could be. I don't even know, I in their head. But if it was me, I was denying it too. Y'all complaining about VAT and this and that and finances, and people could see there's some inequity on the monies that are going to be coming in and out this country and the economic power moving forward. And people are upset that an avenue to take more money out of this country has been denied.
See, again, this is the reason why it's so important for us to unlearn everything that we have learned.
Yeah, boy.
Because we don't truly understand how economics works. We don't understand the fact that we get robbed on a regular basis. Okay. There's an article in the newspaper speaking about how this Saturday, 6,100 people should be coming into the town, right? Okay. If it's not that, via air, it's either 61,000, I think, right? Supposed to be coming in on just that one day alone. And they're speaking about how that's the influx of money, this, that, the next thing. Let's think realistically now. Let's really think realistically. Who's collecting the money for the airfare?
Correct. Not payment people.
Are they being charged for customs, immigration?
Nope, probably not.
That's not happening unless they are the locals who have to pay for bringing their stuff back home.
Which you do. You got one customs exemption.
Who's collecting the money for the hotel room?
Not payments.
All right. So when you're speaking about money, the only thing you're really talking about is the taxi service to get them to the hotel and back to the airport. And we're speaking about if they decide to go to some place like Fish Fry and get something to eat, because honestly and truthfully, the hotels take care of them when it comes to food. Right. Same thing with the cruise ships. You eat free, well, not free, but that is included in your fare. So why would you want to spend an exorbitant amount of money in these other places where you're landing? You may decide to get a meal while you're in port, okay? But how much money are you truly gaining from this? Now, the fact that the straw market is now open, there are a small amount of those people who may decide to go and deal with that, right? But when we're talking about money, this is the reason why I say we don't understand economics. Because when the people open up their hotel and they're hiring some Bahamians, we say, oh, that's a lot of money coming into the Bahamas. No, they're making that money because the people paying them to stay there. Yes, you're gonna get some peanuts because you have to work. They need people, they need servants to make sure that these things are taken care of. But just think if every entity, every international person, every international entity had to pay the same taxes that we pay. Imagine how much money would be in the country. Correct. Just imagine. Right. Because we're giving these people tax breaks to come to our country
that they're not going to get nowhere else.
Right? To become filthy, stinking rich. While our people suffer just so that our corrupt officials could line their pockets. That's not okay. But because we don't take a stand, because we don't try to learn, because we don't decide what side are we going to be on, and because we have to decide, are you going to continue to just be servants and sheep, or are you going to decide to stand on the side of the people who are going to give you the necessary information that you require to truly empower yourself, your country, your children, and your children's children, and your children's children's children? Are you going to stand on that side and try to build things to the point where you can actually succeed and be empowered? Or are you going to stay on the side of the people who are just using you, speaking very fluently, very eloquently, wearing these suits that your money paying for, to hold the strings and have you running around like the puppets, because they're puppets and you're their puppet, okay? The puppet master holding their strings, okay? Are you going to continue to follow them, or are you going to stand on the side of on the side of the line that says we got to do for us and get ourselves where we need to be? Because at the end of the day, the way that it's happening, the way that things have been happening is not working. If it was working, we all would be in a better position. Okay. If it was working. So obviously, if we're not in a better position, that means it's not working. Because if it's only working for a select few, it's not working.
Correct.
You understand? Because we're operating with systems where if you are of a particular ilk, as far as they're concerned, you come from a particular family, you're prepared to commit some illegal acts, you are in the circle, okay, to get straight, then you're going to get straight. But the average person does not get straight the way that you're talking about. They don't. Because if it was working, even if you're a dummy, even if you are an idiot, you are ignorant to economics on the whole, you still should be doing better if the system was working.
Right. That's the social programs and everything else that, apparently, that's a whole nother show, but ladies and gentlemen, and I had to pull the calculator out while, on the screen here while Brother Gamble was talking, I'm still at 61,000. If all those people spend $1, which, everybody's not going to spend $1 in the Bahamas. They're going to drop that in the Bahamas. Does that affect you? The Bahamas has, what? Let's just say 400,000 people. So let's just say 400,000 people. And divide that by the 61, no, that's a little too much. Let's say 400,000 people divided by the 61,000 people. And if they all spend $1, what that, $6? $5? Some more, yeah. Could that feed your family? Could that help you? 400,000 people divide by 61,000, that's 65 cents. You know, could you live off 65 cents? If these people come in here and if everybody bring dollar, you know, and even like when they go to the store market or these other payment institutions, they just running the drop money in your hand. And like they just, oh no, take all my hundreds, take all my 200, take 500. No, we're not doing that. The average transaction is usually probably like around maybe $5-10. You know, and then some are not spending when they come because like Buddy said, they don't have a need to. You know, the food is taken care of at the hotel. But you just to be able to serve them, you're running to serve them and you gotta eat, which is $10, you know, or $8 or $6, depending on what you eat. And you gotta pay gas. They just drive to wherever you go, whether you serving them with your vehicle as a taxi or whatever, or serving them whatever restaurant you go in. You know, and then the caption this morning on Bahama Press was, another publication was 1,000 jobs lost by not allowing the carnival to come in. What? Jobs? So Bahamians can, you know, so let's go back as a recap of this show. Let's call a Bahamian. Let's say she's big. Cool. Let's call her what it is. Cool. A Bahamian is able to place in Miss Bahamas. There are some other historical things. A Bahamian is now the MVP of the WNBA. A Bahamian, 5 of them are now in the NBA. You know, 20-something of them are in sports. A Bahamian is the only 3-time winner of Grammys in Lenny Kravitz. A Bahamian is the fastest man and the fastest woman in 200 and 400 meters in the world. Shanae Miller and Stephen Gardner. But a Bahamian, you know, apparently can't come together and bring in their own kind of work and put their money together.
It's the indoctrination, my brother.
Something's wrong. Something wrong. So Bahamian can't learn what it takes for these machines to run. You know, no. Ladies and gentlemen, we gotta really think and reevaluate. You know, and like I said, that it ain't me, because I ain't a jack. You know, nobody, you know, so we as people have to decide what's it gonna be. Because you can't complain about the depth and the potential of what's happening and all that, and then you want the carnival too. So where that money coming from? You know, how come, you know, that's unaccounted for. You know, you can't have it both ways, and that's just how it goes. You know, you can't say it was Bahamian and then just like everybody who's Haitian and this and that, the next and the rest. But, you know, you got to draw the line somewhere. But remember, as we close, final thoughts, final question.
Yeah, the indoctrination is real. As I said from the beginning, the indoctrination is real. The miseducation is real. You know, we have been trained not to pay attention, not to connect the dots. And we truly don't understand what it is that's really going on. And there are very few people that are interested in digging deeper. We got to get away from that. And this is why shows like this exist, to try to open the minds, you know, to make you think. You know, that's all we ask you to do, is think. And maybe as you think, you might see things a little differently.
Just try to present you some facts and some opinions, you know, about simple, humblest opinion about some of this stuff that's generally what you see and what you experience around. No final thoughts on this. Just gotta decide. We just gotta decide our mind. We gotta pick up and just figure out where we go with this, where all of this is, and you know why. You know, I mean. We kind of know why things are the way they are, but what are we gonna do about it is the main thing, you know, because it's all fine. We got to have these conversations, and a lot of people sadly ain't even having these conversations. You know, a lot of people just find it the way it is. The lady has her kids crying. You know, as a responsible parent of adult, I would have felt good about that. Just say, hey, you know, kids, this is this. You know, we just come off lockdown. This can be rough for y'all. This can be rough for y'all. Her children in the backseat crying. They're crying now. But time they cry later for over the economy. But, you know, I digress. I guess, you know, we could have it both ways. I don't know. You know, but ladies and gentlemen, that's been our show here on the Humblest Opinion. We want to thank you all for joining us and being a part of this broadcast. We stretching out doing some things here on our platform. We thank you for please, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking myself, Tony Bahama, and our co-host.
See, there we go. I know destination, you never been there before.